You're with us on BTTV. We're counting down to market close this Friday. Let's take a look at how we're shaping up. It's not looking all of that encouraging this Friday as markets take a bit of a nosedive towards the end of the week. Let's take you through some of the major losers. For 61310 is where we're trading right now. And let's pull up some of the action for you to get a sense of really where that decline is coming in at this point of time. Almost 1% down now on the index. Dr. Reddy's is down 4% today. We've got Midcaps also taking a bit of a beating coming in. M&M, Adani Ports, some of the other major losers in trade today. We've also got Mandar, Jamsandekar joining us. So let's go straight across to him and get a sense of really what's spooking the markets. Mandar, lots has happened this week, of course, on the rate trajectory and a lot of news on that front. But what else do you think we're seeing when we look at the pressure on the markets today? Is it much due profit booking? Is it a little bit of jitters? What are you, how are you viewing it?
Aabha, thank you for having me on your show. I think there are three things. First is, see, we've been tracking the American markets and we've been following them. So it's not only the opening for our markets, which has been influenced by the American markets, but also the rest of the trend. So therefore, what has happened is yesterday itself, the Dow Jones has broken an important support. Today also the Dow futures are down, and that is reason number one. Second reason, as you said, profit booking. So we have seen plenty of stocks, and especially the banking stocks, which have displayed strong kind of moves in the last few weeks. So we are witnessing profit booking in those counters there. Plus, the third important thing is lack of triggers. So right now, as we know, for the next 2 weeks, there are no fresh triggers for our domestic market. So that is the third reason as to why we are witnessing this kind of a dull kind of a day. And I think we could see some more downsides in our market, not major kind of downsides, but yes, for the Nifty, which is trading at around 18,300 right now, a 300-point correction kind of a, but this fall, a 300-point correction won't be a sharp kind of a fall. It could be spread over the period of the next 1 or 2 weeks. So that kind of a thing. So not more than that, but 18,000, 17,800 is a good kind of a support for the markets. So we could see profit booking at higher levels, and somewhere around 18,000, 17,800, there could be interest coming in back. Now, as I say this, it does not mean that the whole market is weak. Stocks which have witnessed strong kind of moves in the last few weeks are witnessing profit booking. Plus, there is sector rotation which is happening. So, for example, as I said, we are witnessing profit booking in banking stocks. We are also witnessing buying interest in sugar stocks today. So, that kind of a move, a script-specific market and interest staying back into mid-cap and small-cap stocks, that is some kind of a trend which is going to remain as it is for the next 2 weeks.
All right, let's in fact take you through, some of the rate action which is causing all of this upset across global markets. We've got the Bank of England hiking interest rates by 0.5% to about 3.5%. Interest rates now at a 14-year high, in fact, a 9th rate hike in a row there, and they're expecting the UK economy to contract by 0.1% in Q4. So that's what's happening with the Bank of England. We've also got a whole host of recessionary fears mounting when it comes to the UK government. The British economy has entered a recession expected to last all of next year due to rising energy and fuel bills as well. Let's in fact take a look at the oil and gas pocket and what's happening there right now. We are seeing some traction on some of those stocks, and we'll pull those up for you. But as a larger basket, how much of that do you feel can play spoilsport even for us back home here in India, Mandar?
See, the weakness finally is going to basically upside in our markets is going to be will be limited going forward. This is the kind of a view, and that's what we have been observing. The interest in index heavyweights has been missing for the last few days, and that is the reason as to why the upside has been limited. Now, for example, the last few weeks we had seen interest in banking stocks. Now that is missing. So therefore, the downside, I think, going forward with lack of triggers, plus a lot of uncertainty, as you said, coming in from the global markets and the rest of the countries, fears of recession plus holidays, this is all going to add up, and that is what is going to lead to the weakness in the markets for the next coming few days, at least till we get into the earning season, the third quarter earning season. It starts in Jan.
Okay, remember also the government has slashed that windfall tax on crude. That's leading to the uptick in the stocks today. Diesel exports, the levy on that was also cut, and the windfall tax on ATF was also slashed. That's how we're seeing everything from Reliance, ONGC, GAIL moving higher in trade today. Now let's talk about some of the other stocks. L&T is actually trading at an all-time high. Mandar, can we pull that one up and see what you're making of its recent trajectory at this point? It's seen consistent progress and quite a few solid buy ratings coming in on that one.
But if I'm not mistaken, you asked me about Larsen and Toubro, right?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, so see L&T, if we see the chart for the last few months, it's been trading in a nice kind of an uptrend, a steady kind of a move. So it's not that it's seen any kind of a sharp move wherein going forward the stock may also react in that particular way. So a steady kind of a move, and therefore I think this kind of an uptrend is a very good uptrend for any kind of a price to stay in that particular trend. So I think we could see more upsides in this stock going forward. Yes, small corrections can be witnessed. So currently, for example, it trades at around 2175 levels. Downsides to levels of 2150 could see buying interest coming in. And in the next few days, we could see the stock heading for levels of 2300 to 2350.
Okay. What's your take on IT stocks? Because that's definitely where the consistent lag is coming from, Mandar. Anything there specifically that's catching your eye on the charts?
See, basically, IT stocks right now are going through a consolidation. So, the weakness that all these stocks have witnessed in the last 10, 11 months, uh, one positive is these stocks have found support. So, for example, if I look at charts like Infosys and TCS, let's talk about TCS first. From 4,000, the stock came down to levels of 2,950. From then on, the stock has managed to bounce back. So 2950, 3000 levels have been respected by the stock multiple times in the last 6 months. But when we talk about upsides, the upsides have been limited to levels of 3400, 3500. So right now, a range bound trade, this range is big, no doubt about it. So from 3000 to 3400, that's the kind of a range that the stock is trading in right now. So at higher levels, though there is weakness, on the lower levels we are also finding support. So possibly right now, with a lot of uncertainty, this stock could go through this stock would trade in this range for the next few months before we see a further trend developing. And I think this kind of a trade is a good trade for positional traders. So anybody who's interested in short term trades can always use these levels, 3000 and 3400, for getting into trade. So 3400 is where you do the profit booking, 3000 is where you enter a fresh long trade, that kind of a trade. Similar kind of a view is for Infosys as well. Infosys has found a good kind of support around levels of 1400. So 1380 to 1400 has been a good support. Multiple times the stock has managed to bounce back from these levels in the last 3-4 months. Upsides are right now limited to levels of 1600, but I think there is undercurrent in the stock which can be clearly seen, and all downsides to levels of 1500 till now in the immediate short term have managed to have seen buying interest come back. Plus, there's a buyback which is going on, so that should also be able to support the stock on the downside. Not major upsides in these stocks, but yes, they are consolidating, and for the next few months, this consolidation should continue.
All right, let's take a look at what else is buzzing then this afternoon. Akanksha, take us to some of the stocks that are catching your eye.
Right, sugar stocks are playing a sweetener on with Dalal Street today. They are at all-time high. Rajshri Sugars is up 19.98%. Simbholi Sugars is up 19.96%. Shakti Sugars is up 14.61%. KCP Sugars is up 10.22%. Bajaj Hindustan is up 9.94%. I'm sorry. Ugar Sugar Works is up 8.24%. Rana Sugars is up 6.99%. As you can see, there is this rally going on in sugar stocks. One of the reasons, fueling this rally is that sugar stocks are surging because the price of raw sugar, as it is at its 5-year high, it's at an all-time high, and this is what is causing this massive rally in the price of sugar stocks. Back to you, Aabha.
Okay, fantastic. Any of these sugar stocks on your radar, Mandar, or not your favorite segment?
No, but plenty of stocks. So see, I would start with a stock like Mavana Sugar. This stock in the intraday trade right now is trading 15% up. But I think from a short-term point of view, this should be a good kind of an opportunity. And the reason as to why I see this is if you look at the last 10 months of chart, you'll find that the stock had a resistance from a falling trend line around levels of 90-91. And this has been broken in the intraday trade today. So and that also with very strong volumes. Now the next resistance is directly at levels of 108, and the next one is at 125. So the next few days should see good kind of interest in Mavana Sugar. So this is something from a short-term point of view. One can surely get into a long trade with a stop loss at 88 in this particular stock. The second stock from an investment point of view from the sugar pack is Ugar Sugar. This stock trades at all-time high levels. But an interesting thing is, if you look at the long-term chart, then right from 2016 till now, so for the last 7-8 years, the stock had multiple resistances at around levels of 75, then 87, and current levels around 95. And all that has been broken. So the stock is managed to trade above these levels. So I call this as a multi-year, multi-top breakout kind of a formation. So till the time the stock trades above this stock also should be a good kind of a investment candidate. Upside targets of around 170, stop loss of 72 for the trade with a view of 3 years. So this is not short-term trade, but yes, from long-term point of view, this stock surely looks good. Other stocks which are looking good in the sugar pack along with Mavana and Ugar Sugar are Balram Chini. This also from a short-term point of view had a resistance at around levels of 389, 390. So the stock currently trades above this level, which is a positive. So till the time it trades above 390, one can surely stay long. Upsides to levels of 420, 430 in the next few days. Stop loss at around 388. So plenty of stocks which are looking good. One last stock which I would discuss right now is Renuka Sugar. This also from an investment point of view, a long-term investment point of view looks good. Has broken resistances for which the stock was facing for multiple years, right from 2012. So for the last 10 years, the stock was facing resistance. First of all, at the levels of 40, 45, it broke that. Then it created a resistance for itself around levels of 60, 65. That also has been broken. So that's a positive. So till as the stock trades above levels of 63, 65, the stock would head higher for levels of 80 and 100 in the next few months. So this from an investment point of view, Renuka Sugar looks good. Ugar Sugar looks good. And from a short-term point of view, Mavana and Balrampur Chini would be my best picks.
All right, great. Let's also go across to Qatar. Argentina and France are set to face each other in the much-awaited final clash of the FIFA World Cup 2022 on Sunday. And in the first semis, legendary player Lionel Messi's Argentina defeated Croatia to advance to the summit clash 3-0. On the other hand, France defeated Morocco 2-0 to make their way. Nikhil Naz is with us, as you can see, live from Qatar. Nikhil, take it away.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a dream final. You couldn't have asked for anything better. Two very highly rated teams, two teams representing two different continents in Europe, that is France, and then South America, that is Argentina. Quite a lot of similarities. Both teams have won the FIFA World Cup twice, so they'll be gunning for their third title. And then you also have that mini battle within the larger scheme of things, that is two greatest players of this generation. One already established as the greatest of all time, and Lionel Messi up against the young one who's really coming up to be called as one of the greats, that is Kylian Mbappe. He's already got a World Cup with him, Kylian Mbappe. Messi, of course, playing his last World Cup, so gunning for his first FIFA World Cup title. He's won everything else that is possible to win in football, but that FIFA World Cup trophy still eludes him. Now presents that opportunity for him to win it. He's been in a final before, 2014. That's when Messi had to face some heartbreak. This time he'd be hoping that he can do one better with his team. So it's all set here in Qatar. Loads of fans have come in. A lot of fans from India as well have been traveling here. I met a lot of them in the busy streets and bylanes of Doha, Qatar. A massive, all of them football fans, from Bollywood stars to cricket personalities. I believe Sunil Gavaskar is here, Leandro Pace, the tennis legend, is here. All have come down to see the final. So clearly a lot of interest back home in India too. But couldn't have asked for anything better. Just to quickly give you some updates as far as the team news is concerned, we're getting to hear that Karim Benzema, who hasn't played for France in this World Cup because of an injury, he was seen training with the French team yesterday, and he's the current player of the year, the Ballon d'Or winner. So he was a crucial cog in that France setup. He had missed all these games because of injury, but now he's been practicing, and there are reports that he may be fit for the final. So that's going to be a major boost for France. On the other hand, not great news from the Argentinian camp. Lionel Messi missed the practice, but I don't know whether it was precautionary, whether he was resting, or is there any recurrence of that injury, that hamstring that we saw him holding in that semi-final. If that is the case, then that will be a major blow to Argentina. But those were like 2 days before the final, so we'll have to wait and watch what happens in the Argentine practice today. But at the moment, this place is completely buzzing with football fever.
Thanks for joining us, Nikhil. And I'm sure you're having a fantastic time over there with all of the energy around you. Look forward to more updates as we inch closer to this grand finale. Mandar, have you been watching the football?
Yeah, I have been, and Sunday is going to be an important day. I'm going to be betting on Argentina.
All right. All right, we'll discuss this again post the finals once we see who comes through. But you know, Mandar, it's the end of the week, and if we just want to take stock and just come up with, like, you know, a few picks that you feel are still going to tide any rough waters that we have over the next few weeks, what would they be? What's top of mind for you? You know, if you had to suggest a few stock ideas for our viewers.
Aabha, see, a few stocks which I think should perform in the coming few days. They're across sectors. So first stock would be Vardhaman Special Steels. If you look at this stock, then an interesting price formation. The stock had been consolidating for the last few months. You can see on the long-term chart, you can see that the stock was trading between levels of 200 and upsides of levels of 290. This week, the stock has managed to break past this resistance on the upside. So that's a positive. So I think the next few weeks, we should see upside in this stock. This is Vardhaman Special Steels. VSSL is the symbol for this stock. Upsides of levels of 360 to 380 in the next few weeks. Stop loss of 280 should be an appropriate stop loss for the stock. So this is one stock. Then the other stock should be RCF from the fertilizer pack. There are two stocks which I think should witness some more upside in the coming few days. First is RCF. RCF is on the long-term charts has managed to break past a long-term resistance at around levels of 110. So that's a positive. It trades in a steady up move after that. Currently is consolidating between levels of 140 and 130. But I think there are upsides in this stock to levels of 160, 165 in the next few days. A long trade with a stop loss at 130 should be a good kind of a short-term trade. The third stock is SPIC, that is SPIC, that's the NSE symbol for the stock. This stock currently trades at levels of 75. Has yesterday itself managed to break past the resistance around levels of 69.70 and is making a trend change upward breakout. Upsides to levels of 90 in the next few days. Therefore, a buy in this with a stop loss at 68. So these are the three stocks which I think should be able to outperform the markets in the next 1 to 2 weeks.
All right, great. Let's take you through the market closing, and Mandar has given us plenty of interesting stock ideas to think about. Thanks, Mandar. Have a good weekend. Enjoy that match, and look forward to chatting again very soon. Markets today. You know, lots of jitters, of course, largely due to what's happening in the rate environment. Down about 0.8%, 18,259 for the Nifty. Sensex 61,313 is around where we're at. Close to 500 points down this Friday. Losers, we've got Dr. Reddy's down 3%, M&M, Adani Ports, we'll pull up a few more for you as well. Asian Paints, BPCL, Bajaj Auto, some of the others there. And IT names are also sliding. Look at TCS, heavy weightage on the index. SBI also was down about 2% today. So some of these are, you know, major heavyweights there that that are pulling the index down. Let's take a look at some stocks on the upside as well. Pull up some of those for you. And we've got, names, for example, from the oil and gas pack that stood out after the windfall tax cut. We also had HUL, Tata Motors, HDFC Bank. So a mixed bag, and a few names there in the green this afternoon. Tata Steel, JSW Steel. The list was short. But in the broader markets, while we did see a bit of a hammering, let's also take a look at some stocks that did well. We had, for example, a whole host of the fertilizer names, sugar names, some of those kind of stocks that were buzzing in trade. FACT was up at Circuit, Sterlite Tech, Kalyan Jewelers, Rajesh Exports, some of the other movers today. Raymond was up about 4%, Bayer Crop Sciences, Aegis Logistics, Alok Industries, and we'll pull up a few of these. Srilanka Sugar, we were discussing that with Mandar. That was also trending higher by about 3%. Balrampur Chini, GE Shipping has been moving steadily of late. That one continued to buzz as well. Delivery, Adani Total, PVR, so a whole host of names, from the broader markets. It still saw some amount of activity coming in today's session. We'll continue to run through some of those names for you on your screen, but just to also highlight that essentially while we saw a sea of red in today's trade, and the IT index, of course, was down 1.5%. We also saw major losers like a Dr. Reddy's that was down 3-4%. So some of these stocks and IT names that really pulled the index lower. It is still being seen largely as a fair amount of profit booking and some amount of stabilization at these levels. We're still not seeing it as a negative, at least in terms of the expert commentary that we're getting as of now. It's really some of the rate action that's happened over the last week that's leading to some of this selling in the markets. And we've had a whole host of that, of course, in the last few days with regards to the Bank of England also, and that rate hike. They're heading in towards recession, so that's really what's keeping Europe on the edge right now. A lot of bad news coming in there. And otherwise as well, we've seen the Fed act and our own monetary policy as well continue to be in line with the rate trajectory, a higher rate trajectory that everyone's been anticipating. So that's putting its own pressure on the market, of course. But other than that, it is Friday. We're still not too far off those all-time high levels, and it is the football week final this weekend. So on that note, I'm going to leave it there, and we look forward to perhaps a better run on Monday. Thanks so much for watching.
Art, science, and risk of making money from the markets. It's not about hot tips, but it's about making the right choice. Don't try and time the markets, but invest time in making the right call.
Only with Business Today Television.
Welcome. You're watching the Business Today show. I'm Chaitanya Arora. Let's start off with the top news of the day. Stocks take a beating to the red. Benchmark slump over 1%. Broader markets too slide. India's volatility index up nearly 7%. IT, media and metals lead losses on Dalal Street. The government is looking to raise as much as 2,720 crore rupees from a sale of part of its stake in IRCTC. Company stock falls more than 6% in the first day of the OFS. Money to be added to divestment proceeds.